Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, where we explore the deepest and most terrifying mysteries of the world. Today, we have content that will chill even the bravest among you. We will dive into true stories and extraordinary events. These are accounts of sinister shadows, malevolent presences, and paranormal encounters that defy all logical explanations. Get ready to hear stories that will mess with your mind and heart. From visions of spectral figures to frightening premonitions, escapes, and psychological fears, these episodes will leave you questioning everything you think you know about life and death, and if we are truly alone, questioning your sanity. The Cemetery of Orizaba, officially known as a Panteón Municipal de Orizaba, is one of the oldest and most emblematic cemeteries in Mexico. Located in the beautiful city of Orizaba, in the state of Veracruz, this cemetery holds not only the mortal remains of many inhabitants of the city, but also a rich tapestry of stories and legends that span generations. Founded in the 19th century, the cemetery reflects the neoclassical and eclectic architecture of the time. Its imposing gates, ornate sculptures, and majestic mausoleums demonstrate the historical and cultural importance of this place. Walking through its avenues is like taking a trip back in time, where each headstone tells a different story. Visitors and pilgrimages. The cemetery attracts not only local residents, but also tourists and researchers from around the world. Many come in search of answers to the mysteries that surround the place, while others seek a moment of reflection and spiritual connection. During the Day of the Dead, the cemetery comes to life, with families decorating the tombs with flowers, candles, and offerings, creating a colorful and emotional scene. Over the years, various groups of paranormal investigators have visited the Cemetery of Orizaba, documenting inexplicable activities. Reports of EVP, electronic voice phenomena, apparitions, and sudden temperature changes are common. Despite attempts at rational explanation, many aspects of the cemetery remain shrouded in mystery. The Cemetery of Orizaba is a place where history meets the supernatural, creating an environment that fascinates and intrigues. Each visit to the cemetery is an opportunity to discover something new, feel the presence of the past, and get caught up in the mysteries it holds. In Orizaba, a city marked by its stories and legends, there is a cemetery that holds one of the most terrifying and fascinating mysteries in Mexico. Among ancient tombs and majestic mausoleums, the legend of the girl and the angel continues to capture the imagination and fear of those who dare to explore the Cemetery of Orizaba. At the end of the 19th century, the city of Orizaba was shaken by the tragic death of Maria, a girl of only 9 years old. Maria was known for her sweetness and kindness, always helping those in need and bringing joy to those who knew her. However, her life was tragically cut short by a mysterious illness that the medicine of the time could not cure. Her parents, devastated by the loss, erected a statue of an angel beside her headstone, symbolizing their daughter's purity and innocence. The angel, sculpted in white marble, seemed almost alive, with its wings open as if ready to protect Maria's soul forever. A few months after Maria's burial, disturbing reports began to emerge. Night watchmen and cemetery visitors claimed to have seen a small girl, dressed in white, walking among the tombs. Always by her side was an angel that shone with an ethereal light. The girl seemed sad, her eyes fixed on something no one else could see. At first, many dismissed these reports as products of the imagination. But the apparitions became more frequent and more detailed. People claimed to hear childish laughter that turned into anguished cries. Some even reported feeling a small cold hand touch theirs, only to turn around and see no one there. The residents of Orizaba began to treat the cemetery with a mixture of respect and fear. For many, the place was more than just a resting place for their loved ones. It was a portal to the unknown. Children were warned never to approach the cemetery after dark, and even adults avoided passing by alone. For those living in the city, the cemetery became a symbol of the undeniable presence of the supernatural. Stories of terrifying encounters circulated within the community, told on cold nights around campfires or whispered in a confidential tone in local taverns. People swore that, on moonless nights, they could see shadows moving among the tombs and hear whispers that seemed to come from the very stones. Those who came from outside the city, drawn by curiosity or in search of answers, often arrived skeptically but left convinced that something beyond human understanding resided in that place. Tourists and researchers of paranormal phenomena began to visit the cemetery, armed with cameras, recorders, and a good dose of courage. Many reported feeling an oppressive and indescribable presence, a cold that infiltrated their bones and made their hearts race inexplicably. The apparitions of the girl and the angel were not the only phenomena haunting the cemetery of Orizaba. Visitors frequently reported seeing ghostly figures wandering among the headstones, their faces distorted by eternal suffering. Inexplicable lights appeared and disappeared, floating over the graves like lost souls in search of redemption. Many claimed to have captured voices in recordings, murmurs and screams that could not be explained. These electronic voice phenomena, EVP, often carried unsettling messages like "Help us" or "We are not alone." Photographs taken in the cemetery revealed spectral figures and strange shadows that were not visible to the naked eye. The most disturbing was the white marble angel beside Maria's headstone. Some nights, the statue seemed to move slightly, its wings opening or closing, its stone eyes following the visitors with an intensity that chilled the soul. Some claimed that the angel sometimes cried tears of blood, a portent that something malevolent was near. Although many believed that the girl and the angel were protectors, there was a growing sense that not all presences in the cemetery were benign. Some visitors reported being pushed or attacked by invisible forces, leaving unexplained marks on their bodies. Others returned home with recurring nightmares, haunted by dark figures and decayed faces emerging from the shadows. Experts in paranormal phenomena who investigated the cemetery concluded that, in addition to the spirits of the dead, something older and malevolent inhabited that place. They speculated about ancient rituals and curses cast centuries ago, fueled by the suffering and death that permeated the cemetery. They believed these malevolent forces were attracted by the pain of the living and the dead, growing in power as the horror stories spread. One night, a group of teenagers decided to challenge their fear and explore the cemetery after dark. Armed with lanterns and cameras, they hoped to capture some proof of the apparitions. As they walked among the tombs, a thick fog began to form around them, making the environment even more frightening. Suddenly, one of the teenagers screamed. He swore he had seen a childlike figure in white gliding among the headstones. The group followed the sound of light steps and the childlike laughter echoing through the cemetery. When they reached Maria's grave, they saw the figure of a girl and an angel hovering over the tomb. The figure of the girl slowly turned to them. Her empty, sad eyes fixed on the group, and an intense cold gripped everyone. One of the teenagers, in panic, tried to run but stumbled and fell. Looking back, he saw the girl approaching, her hand outstretched as if asking for help. The angel, however, seemed immobile, his serene expression contrasting with the tension of the moment. The ethereal light around him seemed to pulse, increasing and decreasing in a hypnotic rhythm. The teenagers, paralyzed by fear, heard a whispering voice in the wind, a mixture of sadness and despair. Javier, the skeptical journalist, was fascinated by the teenagers' reports. Determined to find answers, he spent several nights in the cemetery, hoping to capture some evidence of the apparitions. On the third night, while walking near Maria's grave, he heard a soft whisper calling his name. The voice seemed to come from all directions, enveloping him. Following the sound, Javier found the statue of the angel illuminated by an inexplicable light. The temperature around him dropped drastically, and he felt a strong, overwhelming presence. His instruments began to fail, the camera turned off by itself, and the recorder captured only static. Desperate, Javier tried to leave the cemetery but felt as if an invisible force was holding him back. In the midst of panic, Javier saw the figure of a girl and an angel materialize before him. The girl had tears streaming down her face, and the angel seemed to look directly into his soul. The girl pointed to an old weed-covered and long-forgotten tomb. Trembling, Javier followed the gesture. Investigating the tomb, he discovered that it belonged to a woman named Isabella, who had died shortly before Maria. Isabella was a controversial figure in the city, known for her occult practices and mysterious rituals. People whispered that she had made a dark pact to secure eternal life. Javier managed to escape the cemetery that night, but was determined to uncover the mystery. He researched thoroughly and discovered ancient documents suggesting that Isabella might have used Maria in a ritual to transfer her own soul into the child's body. The angel, instead of being a simple monument, might have been there to protect Maria from Isabella's spirit. Despite all of Javier's efforts, the mystery was never fully resolved. He published his investigation, but many details remained inexplicable. The apparitions of the girl and the angel continued, and to this day, the Cemetery of Orizaba remains a place of mystery and fascination. The story of the girl and the angel left an indelible mark on the city of Orizaba. Those who visit the cemetery still report feeling a strange presence, a sudden chill, or hearing whispers in the wind. Some say that if you listen closely, you can hear Maria singing a lullaby, protected by the angel who continues to guard her eternal rest. To this day, the Cemetery of Orizaba remains an enigma. The legend of the girl and the angel continues to grow, fueled by new reports of terrifying and inexplicable encounters. Those who dare to explore the cemetery at night do so with a mixture of fear and fascination, knowing that when they cross the gates, they are entering a realm where the rules of reality are distorted and the supernatural is palpable. The Cemetery of Orizaba is not just a place of eternal rest. It is a portal to the unknown, a place where the line between the world of the living and the dead is thin and permeable, where the supernatural manifests in terrifyingly real ways. Each story, each account of apparitions and inexplicable phenomena, adds a layer of mystery and terror to this already haunted place, making it a destination for both the brave and the reckless who wish to glimpse what lies beyond the veil of reality. Each new visitor to the cemetery leaves with more questions than answers, perpetuating the mystery and fueling the legend. The Cemetery of Orizaba is more than just a resting place. It is a portal to the unknown, where the past and the supernatural meet in an eerie and eternal embrace. Thank you for joining us on this journey. May love and faith always guide your steps, even in the darkest moments.